to talk this.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your baby mobile gamer host, Madelyn. That felt like saying rubber baby buggy bump it.
Saying
great.
what?
That one, great. You know the tongue twister rubber baby buggy bumpers?
No. It's maybe an actor thing.
Baby mobile gamer. It is definitely an actor thing. Anyway, it's me, Madelyn. It's me, Madelyn.
And I'm your building a house host, Emma.
So true. Thanks for tuning in to this week's show. It's 6 weeks in gaming.
Yes.
It's April.
It is April.
Who would have thought? Like mid-April. I've got 4 games against all odds.
Wow. You were so down on yourself before. You're like, oh, I'll be there with my 2 games.
Yeah.
Like a liar, apparently.
Well, you know, every 6 weeks in gaming, I say the next 6 weeks are going to be different. And gosh darn it, the next 6 weeks are going to be different.
I've got 7.
Well, bring on the Cold Steel report.
It's the Reverie report now, Malin, remember.
Sorry. My mistake.
Keep up.
What's Reen been up to?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot more Reverie. Genuinely, it's been a lot more enjoyable than most of Cold Steel was for me. It also feels substantially shorter. I feel like I am approaching midway at this point. So, like, I'll finish it this year, probably. I won't be playing it for, like, 3.5 years, like it was Cold Steel before.
I could just hear the listeners sigh in disappointment.
Don't worry, then I can move on to Daybreak, or whatever the next one's called. Anyway, last time on Reverie, we've got 3 protagonists in this, if you'll remember. We've got Lloyd, Crossbellion. Genuinely, I don't remember what Lloyd is doing right now. It has been a while since I've played as him. There's some brainwashing stuff going on in Crossbell. They've got some sort of lead on where to go, and so I think they're crossing, like, under occupied Crossbell through the sewers right now.
Crossing Crossbell.
I just don't remember where they're going or why specifically. I'm sure I'll remember once I pick him back up again. But Lloyd's has been, like, the least interesting storyline going on.
Clearly.
It's mostly very, like, plot, I guess, I would say. C, the masked terrorist. The game at least had not revealed his identity officially at the time last time.
Sure, but you knew.
But I knew. And luckily, they have revealed his identity, and it wasn't like a late game revelation, because that would have been really awkward. So I think they were maybe like, okay, people probably aren't going to be super fooled by this. Anyway, if you'll remember, if I said this last time, which is possibly not, a guy named Rufus.
Emphasis on the if, you'll remember here.
A guy named Rufus was the guy who took over Crossbell again, right? But who's behind the mask? Rufus. But a different Rufus. There are 2 Rufuses operating simultaneously. So I'm assuming we've got, like, nobodies from Kingdom Hearts or something going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, real Rufus has cut his hair. He's got a nice little bob now, as opposed to his long ponytail. That's how you tell them apart. His storyline and he's really the babysitting service at the point where it's become a little bit comical. He only works with children, apparently. But anyway, the child assassins and the doll, and him, because he did some bad things in Cold Steel. He was not a very good guy, bad guy. So there's a lot of, like, how do I become human theming from, like, various different directions in this that I'm finding very compelling. Like, I did not find the villains in Cold Steel to be very compelling, like the main villains. A lot of them were, like, very conflicted, and I didn't really buy their conflict, right? Because it's like the end of the world on the line versus, like, your loyalty to this guy And, like, I didn't get the loyalty part from most of the villains because I didn't find the main guy, very charismatic, honestly. But I think the way they are presenting Rufus's specifically in Reverie is compelling in its, like, strange thought processness, I guess.
Sure.
It makes sense in a way that I felt like other characters didn't make sense, I guess. And then you also have, like, you know, these two child assassins who are trying not to kill anybody anymore, and a doll, right? So you're approaching a sentient doll, I should say, who has come up with the question of the ship of Theseus on her own in a world without Greek mythology, I guess. So good for her, you know. She was like, what if you replaced all my parts? Would it still be me? And I'd be like, whoa, Dolly. Calm down, Lapis.
Hey, doll.
So it feels very thematically cohesive, right? This particular route. Reen.
Listeners are missing out, by the way. Emma is gesticulating wildly.
Reen.
That's just for me.
Rufus gave them, like, a little hint from information that he'd picked up, because they're still searching for their missing prince and princess, right? Rena's. And so Rufus had picked up some information that they should go look in the Nord Highlands. So now Reen and crew have proceeded to the Nord Highlands in order to investigate what's going on there. Which, the Nord Highlands is this place that's, like, technically part of Erebonia, but it's sort of like a protectorate over this, like, nomadic tribes, like, space, essentially. So it's not, they have, like, military outposts. They don't, like, live there. These nomadic tribes live there. One of Reen's classmates from the first two Cold Steels is from there, and his family's from there. So you've gone there to investigate what's going on. Nothing seems to be happening except for, like, little strange bits of activity that they're sort of putting together. But for the last week or so, I've been stuck in Mementos.
No.
What is essentially Mementos? There's this, like...
Oh, okay. Got
it's
it.
called the Reverie Corridor, which is this, like, sort of procedurally generated strange space that some strange entity has brought all these people to help them become stronger, to alter the course of destiny or whatever, so that they can actually do that. And that just involves a lot of, like, all of your characters that you've ever had in a party up to this point are available. So, like, Rufus's route, I might have 5 characters. Reen's route, I might have, like, 6 characters at a time. Leodroid's route, I might have 6 characters at a time. In there, I have, like, 30 already.
Of course.
So you pick how many you want to bring. You get, like, stat boosting items, too, so that you can keep people, even that aren't in, like, your regular active party, up at the same level. You gather different stones in the area that unlock, like, special side story daydreams or extra characters that you can use through the gacha system, or thankfully outfits. Yay! And also mini games. You remember last time in 6 weeks where I was like, I only played 2 match 3 games?
I do remember that.
I forgot that Trails of Cold Steel has its own match 3 game.
How did you forget? That would have brought you to 3.
I know. That's called Pom Pom Party.
You're bad at
I don't
match
know
3.
if I had unlocked it in this one yet, but now I have.
Okay.
And I was like, you know, I should save up my little things that I get doing this for, like, something useful, right? Like, I can get another support character that I can put in my party, right? Or I can have more of these points that I can use to use special attacks. And then I scrolled down, it was like, more Pom Pom Party opponents. And I was like, never mind, we're doing that. Pom Pom Party, extremely good minigame.
It sounds good.
It's extremely fun.
PPP.
So that's where we are right now, in Reverie.
Thanks for the report.
Genuinely, really having a good time with this one.
That's crazy because I think of these games as an albatross around your neck.
Well, we sort of operate, on like a it's so over, we're so back graph, right?
Yeah.
And so the start of Cold Steel 4, and I know it was a long time ago now, so we do not remember, but I was pretty high on the start of Cold Steel 4.
Yeah.
And then it became the abyss, right? But we have quickly gotten back up to we're so back in Reverie, like more quickly than I feel like usually happens when I start these games off a rough patch. So we're at the top of the graph right now, and let's hope we even out and stay there, like the stock market.
So I'm going to talk about tariffs.
not
No, just
not
kidding.
like the stock market, I guess.
No, speaking of we're so back, this 6 weeks, I became a subscriber to Apple Arcade, the best deal in gaming.
There it is, the best deal in gaming, Apple Arcade.
Anyway, yes, I became a subscriber to Apple Arcade. Should I have done that a few weeks ago while I still had a new phone offer? Yes. Did I? No. So, best deal in gaming, $6.99 a month. Actually, no, I think I do have a free month right now. I do need to put that in my calendar. Just kidding. Best deal in gaming. Never gonna cancel.
Good.
But I got that subscription. I'll talk more about Apple Arcade. Don't worry. In general thoughts. But I got that subscription because, as Emma says, the Monkey's Paw Girls and Katamari Damacy Rolling Live came out at the beginning of the month. The first real new Katamari in who knows how long.
Yep.
And it's on my phone.
Yep.
So I guess I'm a mobile gamer now.
I've heard it's really good.
Okay, so here's the review. Right, one, cannot imagine what it would have been like playing this on my phone that I acquired during the Obama administration.
Yeah.
Just comical to think about what that would have been.
I'm gonna get a new phone next week.
You're gonna get a new phone?
Well, if I wait another 3 months, how much will it cost me?
Fair. That's real. Anyway, Katamari Damacy, I don't know if it's on the Wikipedia greatest games of all time, but it's certainly on the Talk This greatest games
Sure, yeah.
of all time. And it's very exciting for there to be new Katamari. Have there really been new Katamari levels made in the past decade? I don't think so.
I don't know. I feel like I'd have to look. I feel like there's probably been the odd one, added.
They might
to
have a few
re-release.
weird little mobile games here and there, and this is a weird little mobile game too. But still, there's certainly not been a new Katamari on consoles since the compilation one for the PS3 that we have. And they released the remasters, but those are old. Those are old games. I had played those. So this is new Katamari. The levels are new. They feel like Katamari levels. That's what's so interesting, right? You're still rolling around a house, and then you go outside and there's a pool, right? I was like, oh, this level is sort of the same level, but different.
Yeah.
And this is what I have been begging for, and that I am on the record on this podcast, approximately once a quarter, begging for, which is just give me some new, sort of recycled feeling Katamari levels. That's all I want. And lo and behold, that's what they gave me. Household levels fun. They've got some, the gimmick of this one, not that the plot, except the first one. Obviously, the plot of the first Katamari is peak.
True.
With the kids and the moon. But this one is the king is now, the king of all cosmos is a streamer, right? And you're collabing with fans. It's sort of an update to We Love Katamari, right? Instead of them having requests, there are other streamers who want to collab with us on streams. So there's classic Katamari levels. There's, make a star as fast as you can, which are now called shorts. The king's we used to call these fast as you can, but now they're shorts. So he's up with the lingo. But there have already been some fun themed ones. I certainly haven't played. I think I've played half the levels or so far. There's one that was roll up as many glow sticks as you can. There's one that was as many people as you can, I think. I love the gimmick Katamari levels, although I hope they don't waste one on Cowbear.
Yeah.
We'll see though. It does sort of feel like they have to, but I wish they wouldn't. The downside, though, is that it is on my phone.
Does that not feel somewhat natural, though?
So on one hand, yes, it's not as bad as I thought. And to be fair, I don't play any games on my phone.
Right, yes.
Right. So first of all, you do have the option with this. You can either play, they recommend single joystick roll controls. I won't do that.
Right.
That's not what it is. What, I'm just gonna like move it's not like I'm pushing the Katamari that way.
Right.
It's just like I am the Katamari. And I am not the Katamari. I am the Prince of All Cosmos. Or the cousin of my choice.
Right.
So it's just important for my experience of the game that I feel that way. I have to identify. If I don't feel like I am the main character, then forget it, as we all know. So I refuse to do that. I'm doing the 2 joystick controls. And the first level that I played, I'm really stupid. I like had it like sitting on a table and I was like rolling the joysticks with my like pointer fingers. That's not how you play Katamari. That's not how you would do it with a controller. I don't know why I thought that was the way to do it. Because I'm stupid. So anyway, after that I picked it up and I was like, oh duh, like it's like a controller.
Thumbs, yeah.
And that is like theoretically very natural, except that little dots on the screen that look like joysticks are actually not joysticks. Did you know that? This game would be incredible. Like, what a beautiful return for the series. And it still is. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. There's new music that is still like great Katamari music. Like, it's good. Thumbs up from me. However, my thumbs are kind of the problem. It's just not the same as like your fingers slide off the button. Like, turning can be hard. Getting it to do the little Katamari dash by wiggling your thumbs is hard. It's gonna give me carpal tunnel.
Sure.
So I just like, I wouldn't even mind if they were like, the assets aren't high res enough to put on a television, right? Like, I don't need to play it on a TV. I'll play it on my phone size screen. That's fine. But like, can I hook up a DualSense to it? Like, this would change the game for me.
Do you think you can, though?
Not natively.
You don't think it wouldn't like connect with like Bluetooth?
I'll do some Googling.
I mean, I don't know anything about it. I am just saying words. But
Bluetooth?
I don't know. Bluetooth is a thing, right? I do feel like you could plug in a controller with some sort of adapter. I know.
Well, and I have a USB-C phone now, so it should be.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point being, if I could play this, there's part of me that's like, oh, am I just worse at this game because I don't have all the levels just like burned into my brain, right? Mm-hmm. And that's partially true, but I'm just having a little bit of trouble rolling the Katamari as smoothly as I expect to be able to, right? Because sometimes my thumb just kind of slides off the input, or like I'm not as able to be as precise with how I'm moving it, and hopefully I'll get better at that over time, but it's my like tiny little critique. If I could do that, if they would just put it on the Nintendo Switch, I'd be a happy camper. It's gotta be coming, right?
You hope.
It's gotta be coming.
It's sort of like a 50-50 on whether Apple Arcade like eats it or if it escapes at this point. So,
can it roll up Apple Arcade?
That'd be great.
So yeah, so all this to say, it's probably worth subscribing to Apple Arcade for a month to play this game, assuming you have a decent phone and you're okay with, like, you have someone to like massage your thumb for you. Like, that's the hidden cost.
Right.
You say, oh, $6.99. Absolutely. I'd pay $69.99 for a new Katamari game. And Nintendo will make me when it comes to the Switch 2. $79.99. But the real hidden cost is a masseuse, a thumb masseuse. But it's so good to hear the da 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 da, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was so good when that hit. I was like, we are so back. Theme of the episode.
All right, a couple more games for me. I played Wanderstop, which
I watched some Wanderstop this 6 weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So explain it for the listeners, but I already know.
Yeah.
Very Madelyn core.
Yeah, it was fun. It's the new game from the Stanley creator team. The Stanley Parable team. The creators of the Stanley Parable, you might say.
Which, that does not tell you anything about the game.
No.
That actually tells you negative information about this game.
It has if you're like, oh, it has some like awareness, right, of what it is.
Sure.
I think that you could draw some connections there, but it definitely is not the same sort of vibe as the Stanley Parable. You play as a warrior named Alma, who was really, really good at fighting until one day she was not. She just started losing fights. So she decides to run off to this one teacher she's heard of that she's sure will put her back on the path to greatness. So she runs into this forest and then suddenly, really quickly, becomes really tired. And she tries to keep going, but oh man, she can't. She's tired. She can't hold her sword anymore. She has to put it down. She keeps running, and then she passes out. And when she comes to, she has been brought to Wanderstop, a tea shop run by a friendly, roly-poly little guy named Boro. He's got little guy energy, even though he's not a little guy.
No. But he is a little guy.
But he is a little guy, spiritually. And at first she's determined to run back out, but finds that she still can't lift her sword, even though Boro seems to be able to do it just fine. And Boro suggests that she hang a little while at the tea shop, make some tea for customers, relax and reflect, and see what happens. And so she decides to do that. And it goes from there, essentially.
It's hard to describe how much I wish this would happen to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think my notes to myself were like, I should run a tea shop. I'm sure it's exactly like this.
You should not run a tea shop.
I'm sure it's exactly like this. And there's no budgeting and no like paperwork and nothing like that.
The tea grows instantly.
Yes, I can just fling flowers into the ground, use my weird little tea machine involving a ladder. There you go. That's the life I want.
Which of the photos did you take?
Which of the photos?
Of there's the man with his son.
Oh yeah.
And they do all these. So when I was staying in Los Angeles, my friend who I was staying with there was playing Wanderstop, and so I watched a decent amount of it, and I also kind of half dozed through a decent amount of it, to be honest, because that's what I do when I'm in LA. But yeah, there's like a guy who has a son, and you can like keep talking to him about anecdotes about his son, and then take one of the photos. Which one did you take?
Yeah, I think I only listened to a couple of them, so I got one.
You only listened to a couple of them?
I was in character, you know? But I think it was the one where he comes in to wake his son up in the middle of the night, and he's in the front, and his son is like in bed in the back.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the funniest, but I don't remember. I just remember them all being like just more delightful.
So there is a bit like of a gimmick to Wanderstop that's beyond like the straightforward sort of tea simulator, in that like every once in a while people will just stop talking to Alma. And when that happens, she has to go sit in front of the shrine, and that will like reset the space into a new environment with like different customers and all the work that she's done like gone. Right. With the exception of photos. You can put photos in the frames and those will be carried over resets. Although there's only a certain amount of frames. And sometimes some of them disappear. So you don't like continuously build stuff. There's like stages of Alma's storyline as she continues like her process towards moving forward, which you do have some like input in the choices that you make as well. But I found that to be like it was much more interesting to have like these segments this way, right? As opposed to like just sort of like a continuous thing, I think. Felt very more like vignette-y, I guess. The other game I played and completed was Perfect Tides, which has been on my backlog for a while.
Bingo.
No, I have not gotten a bingo yet.
Sorry. Bing.
Bing. Yeah, exactly. Which is a point-and-click adventure game about a girl who's a teen in the 90s. So it's interesting because like it's like, oh, well, lots of people have made that now, but it's not really like a game topic. It's like a movie topic, you know.
Yeah. That's true.
And especially on the Steam Deck, there's a little bit of like annoying pixel hunting, right? Because the screen is small, and you still kind of have to use your mouse a little bit. There's a mouse pad on the Steam Deck.
You're just rubbing it in. Especially in the Steam Deck. Oh, it's a little small. It's got a mouse.
But I found it really, really charming and fun and well written and just very specific in a way that a lot of game stories can not be, you know. So you go through like a year essentially in different stages of her life. There's a lot of like, I'm so telling myself in my head like, wow, I'm so glad I've never said anything embarrassing in my life. Wow, who would be this cringe as a teenager? Not me.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything right now. And not even like specific experiences, just like general like, oh, like I've felt that before too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that was very satisfying and just not like a thing that I experience very much in games, I guess, you know. So yeah, that was another successful foray into the backlog bingo, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, have I mentioned that Apple Arcade is the best deal in gaming?
You have.
I just wanted to say it again.
Who's the Apple guy right now?
Is it still Tim Cook?
See, I was gonna say that, but then my brain was like, no, that's the Epic guy. Who's the Epic guy?
Shoot, is that... No, I'm pretty sure Tim Cook is the Apple guy.
You might be right. It's just like I thought Tim Cook, and then my brain was like, no, that's the Epic guy.
God, remember that.
But now I can't think of the Epic guy. But he's probably the Apple guy. Yeah, Tim Cook.
I'm pretty sure.
We love you, Tim Cook. Not really.
Let him cook. So like I when I subscribed to Apple Arcade after I played Katamari for a little bit, I was like, oh, let me like scroll through and see like what else is in this library, right? And I will get to the games I actually played soon. But I just don't. A game has to be a very specific type of game for me to want to play it on my phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one game I will not be downloading, even though it is a game that meets the parameters, is Balatro.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I thought about it. Oh, I did. Oh. Anyway, when I come in playing one game, next time you'll know why. But yes, I will not be downloading Balatro. But they also had like they had Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors is already overwhelming on a screen with like a mouse. And I was sort of like, I don't really feel like I want this on my phone. But then they also had stuff like, it's all stuff that I sort of already own, right? But it doesn't cost me on anything on Apple Arcade, right? I was like, oh, Stardew Valley. I'm probably experiencing enough of an existential crisis at any moment of my life that having Stardew Valley around a la 2018 or whatever might be good. But I don't want to play that on my... Again, I know Stardew Valley is mostly like a you tap and move. But it just feels too intricate to play on a, index card. Like they had Slay the Spire, but I already own that. I almost got Grease. But I was like, I don't know, do I want to play something like emotional on my cell phone on the train? Like I just get it on the TV. Play it on the TV, Madelyn. So there's just a lot of stuff that was like, oh, this is interesting. this does not appeal to me as a game to play on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But a game that unfortunately did appeal to me to play on my phone, because I looked up like best Apple Arcade games and I saw Kotaku singing its praises, was Grindstone.
Oh.
So Madeline's never played a Candy Crush like before, really. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can feel it scratching that same sort of like roguelike itch in my brain of like, number go up.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of achievement.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Ooh. And also it's like simple enough that I can play it on the train. So Grindstone is, yeah, I mean, this is like a Candy Crusher, basically. But you're like a little dude. You're mining for grindstones, basically. And eventually the little things you're mining turn evil and they want to hit you.
Oh.
And that's part of the challenge. And I have gotten too ambitious and died several times. It's just so fun to like line them all up. I don't want to end the level. I just want to keep going. They line all up. So yeah, I think that's gonna be, it's bad because I've gotten into a good habit of reading on the subway. And I do feel like turning myself into a mobile gamer might compromise some of that.
You gotta trade off.
I know I've got to trade
For
off.
every one chapter read, you can play an hour of Grindstone.
Maybe I will. But yes, I'm enjoying it. It's scratching that like, ooh, check things off the list, finish a level, you're getting better at this fake thing itch in my brain, which is a dangerous thing for me. But I enjoy it. I recommend it. I wouldn't get Apple Arcade for Grindstone. I certainly wouldn't. But I would play it if you have Apple Arcade, potentially. This is my review.
Okay, a couple more quick ones for me. I replayed Transistor. My first replay goal. Crossed
You wrote
off.
a blog about it.
I wrote a blog about it too. So if you really want my thoughts on Transistor, you can go find it on the blog. But long story short, still my favorite Supergiant game. I think even whenever Hades 2 comes out, I really doubt that's gonna change it.
When does Hades 2 come out?
They have some weird thing going on with the voice actors right now, because they like won't sign the provisional agreement for union actors for some weird reason.
Don't they know this game is gonna print money? What are you doing?
I don't know. It like some people were talking about like, well, maybe it's a little complicated because they have like they do voices. There's non-union actors in it, but like the voice
Games
actors
always
that they're
make exceptions for that.
yeah,
You can Taft
that's
anybody.
what the voice actor was saying. Like they just like wouldn't talk. I don't know how that was a few weeks ago. I don't know how that's shaken out since then. But it's coming to Switch 2 first.
I'm looking at that. I was looking for a release date. There is not one.
Yes, but no release date yet. They've done a few content updates since the original thing. But yeah, I'm just at least I'm totally ignoring it until 1.0 comes out and then we'll look at it essentially.
Yeah, I agree.
But Transistor is just so good, man.
I still have to play that one. I mean, I've played Bastion, but
I don't know if both Hades and Pyre are like more ambitious in some ways and also more coherent in some ways, but it's just the vibes and atmosphere and like central relationship of Transistor just like so carries it for me, right? That it just like works. I don't know. I found some little things I hadn't seen before. When you use the hum button in one area, your sword boyfriend will sing along with you, which was just like delightful. Nice. And sad. But yeah, just perfect little game in my opinion. So I'm really glad I went back and revisited it. I was worried I wouldn't like it as much, but definitely still do. And then, speaking of things that I bought just to sort of pass the time, I guess, when I went on a trip over these 6 weeks and I wanted to get something I could just sort of play on the train and at night, so I bought Dark Deity 2, which is like an indie Fire Emblem like.
Oh, sick.
I had gotten the original Dark Deity when it came out. That's a few years old now, but I really didn't click to it. I don't think I ever played more than like 4 or 5 chapters of the original, maybe. This one is like a step up from that in basically every way, from like the presentation to like the gameplay to like actually having like a narrative hook, which I remember being like my main problem with the original Dark Deity was just like there was just it's like what are we doing at any given time, and there wasn't really an answer. Dark Deity 2 is not like, oh, this is a masterpiece, but like there's like stakes and like plot beats that make sense, so like it carried through on that. And I'm Fire Emblem brained, right? So
Killed.
This was like a good like, oh yeah, I'll play this for a little bit to just sort of have something to play. There's a few little quirks off Fire Emblem. There's like abilities that you have like mana that you can use with it. There's like various different status effects that you can give and get. Other little quirks to the way that the gameplay works that adds a bit of interest to its maps. So I played up to like chapter like 17. So I think I was a little more than halfway through the game. I put it down for now, but I could see myself picking it back up again, like if I had like another trip where I just sort of needed something to play. So shelved for now. Probably won't be talking about it again for a little bit, but might see it crop back
we're
up.
going the Boston trip.
Yeah, but 100 Line will be out then. So
replaced. Never mind. So guess what? I played more on Apple Arcade.
Wow, best deal in gaming.
Yeah.
Woo,
I just figured, whatever, let's try it. What's the new phone for?
Yeah, true.
So I also got my third and final Apple Arcade game of the 6 weeks. I got What the Golf, which I have wanted to play, and is a great game to play on your phone because it is just not that precise. So yeah, What the Golf, I feel like we've talked about it on the show, but I'm not sure it's been a game that was a game. I'm not sure it's actually fallen into a...
I feel like we've talked about like sports games maybe or something.
Maybe it was sports games. It may have come up in the humor in games episode at some point. But yeah, What the Golf is a game that dares to ask the philosophical question, what is golf? And functionally, it's really funny. I actually do think it might be mad funny.
Good.
Because it's just like such quick takes. Like, that's what I think can be successful about, or is easier humor in games than the kind of thing that a Borderlands perhaps tries to do. Is that it's just like, here's a quick gag for you. Here's a quick gag, right? Like hitting something into a one-shaped hole and saying, hole in one up on the screen, that's comedy, baby. Like, that's it. Or all the various ones where it makes you think you're gonna hit the ball, and instead it's like you hit the arrow is the thing that you're hitting, or the golfer is the thing that you're hitting. Like, good stuff. Or like, is soccer golf explored at length? Kinda. So yes, this game dares to ask the question, like, is golf just hitting something to a goal? Which it kind of is.
Kind of is.
And it also dares to ask, what if golf, but does not matter how many times you hit the thing, mostly. Also good. Yeah. Liked when it went 2D. Like, it's just like, oh, how many different ways can I make something that is vaguely golf? And so far, in my playing of it has been fun. I did not realize I could go back and have different challenges on each level until embarrassingly deep. So I'm stupid is basically what I would like everyone to take away from this episode. But they have a whole section that's like riffs on Mario, which I thought was really funny. Just a lot of like, oh, like this is a good gag. I would have liked to have written the things that pop up on screen when you like win the level for each of these. Just good. So yeah, I am finding What the Golf to be the rare example of game humor that really is working for me, and it's mostly because it's like stupid puns.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good. I'll take that. That to me is the essence of Mad. Actually, I want to be clear. I do think Mad Funny is something different. Like, I do use this to just talk about funny games.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Listeners for whom this is not making sense. Mad Funny dates back to a subway conversation that I overheard between a group of teenage boys describing the video game Borderlands.
We really
as
gotta
a
make Mad Funny catch on as a genre descriptor.
I think I could. If we can all say Castlevania, we can all say Mad Funny.
We need to write our theses on Mad Funny.
That's a blog, baby. I'm not kidding. I've got time for that. But I do think Mad Funny implies a level of juvenile humor, perhaps. Or like there's something about the type of humor, probably, that makes something Mad Funny. And What the Golf is sophisticated.
Exactly, yeah.
What's more sophisticated than a pun?
Nothing.
What's more sophisticated than a little sight gag?
Nothing.
Nothing. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. That one I will definitely finish. Because yeah, well, I'll at least play through every level. I don't know if I'll be like, oh yes, I'm playing every challenge on every level.
Mm-hmm.
But like, delightful little thing. I was glad I got it, and I was glad I don't feel like I'm suffering for playing it on my phone as opposed to any of the other places I could play it. Feels totally fine in that way. So again, would I get Apple Arcade for What the Golf? No, get it for Katamari, you dummy. But like, you can also play this.
Yeah. Speaking of puns, although not visual sight gags, I was just suckered into buying by all the good reviews, Blueprints, which is where you use blueprints. You get it?
I get it.
Okay. So it's like a lot of people have compared it to Outer Wilds.
I've been thinking that it's time
for Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
My problem with Outer Wilds was like the ship controls. And like
I liked the ship controls.
Moving.
Ship controls chaotic in a good way.
Moving around in Outer Wilds was my problem with Outer Wilds, I feel like. But it's a little bit more rogue-like, I guess. So you have your Simon, last name, they probably said it, but I forgot. And you've been bequeathed a house by your deceased granduncle. Contingent in that you find the 46th room of the 45-room estate. In some amount of time. He's not very specific. I don't think there's actually a time limit on it in this. So in order to do that, you enter the house and you choose a door, and then you draft the next room, essentially. So you get like 3 different rooms that you can put into the next space. You choose the one you want. This might give you certain items that you can pick up. It might give you information. It might give you more doors to continue moving your way through the estate. You start out with 50 steps, so every time you enter another room, you lose a step. So there's a certain amount of time you can spend in the house per day. And then once you've locked yourself in and there's no more doors for you to use, as has frequently happened to me, or you run out of steps, you call it a day, and the next day you come in and the house has like entirely reset, and you have to start drafting your way through the house again, to sort of discover more rooms and find any sort of clues that you can that will lead you to the 46th room. You can also go out of the house. There's some grounds area where there's places that can be unlocked, although I don't have the information for that yet for most of them. So there's also, like, you can go out of the house and look around there as well, which I feel like will probably be key at some point. Um, but yeah, so it's like you keep gathering information and then try to find the rooms that you need to enact that information, essentially.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's definitely very compulsive to play. I am feeling like by the end of it, the RNG is going to annoy me. There's been stuff like this where it's like, okay, I know the car is in the garage, but I only get the car keys on times I don't get the garage, and I only get the garage on times I don't get the car keys. This has happened like every day. Or like I've only managed to find a key card on the days when I have key card doors once. Other times I don't find it, or I find it and then I never find a key card door. So there's places where it feels like I can feel like, oh, this might get frustrating later on when I just need to make things work as opposed to I'm gathering information. But at this point, like each time the house resets, I feel like I have another goal or another piece of information that I can move forward with. I think I'm at the point where I need to start figuring out if there are patterns to where certain rooms appear, which are going to be a little bit tedious, but I think will be interesting. And occasionally you find something in a room that make you go, oh, I don't know, that's scary. So there's a little bit of that vibe too. Surprising amount of like little like story bits in a way I wasn't necessarily expecting, I guess. I gave a coin to one of those like fortune teller coin operated things, and it gave me a whole spooky, scary cutscene that I didn't. It was like, oh no! Do you know that picture of like the old man meme where he's like, I don't know, that's scary.
Oh yeah, I do.
That's how I feel sometimes walking into a new room in Blueprints. Or there was a book called The Red Prince that also gave me that vibe. That was like, I don't like that.
I really thought for a moment you were thinking that I was going to be able to identify the meme by you just saying, you know that picture of an old man?
No, this is where he looks kind of concerned. He says
Yeah,
that's
I do.
scary. Yeah. Anyway, I'm on day like 11 right now, so we'll see. I think this kid is like a child. Like he should be going to school, but I think I'm gonna keep him here at least for like a couple months, honestly. So
he just bequeathed the house. Who needs school?
So true. Well, do you want me to go last, or do you want to go last?
I'll go now. Okay. Guess what I'm still playing?
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I didn't play any Yakuza this 6 weeks, which I'm really upset about. But whatever. This next 6 weeks. Oh, me and Pirate Majima, we are gonna get crazy. But that's what you're gonna talk about, I think.
Yes.
And I will plug my ears. No, I won't. But yes, I am still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've totally remember my New Year's resolution that I was going to finish a game every month. I'm 1 for 3.
You can catch up. You can do it.
No, I can. I feel like if I get every other month and I get 10 out of 12, like that's pretty good. And I think I can do it. I think if I don't finish Final Fantasy this month, I just need to stop. I just need to give up. Yes, we have reached chapter 13 of 14, right?
Yes.
Great.
You are at you're at the point where you can go to the point of no return. If you haven't gone
already. I think that I have gone, so they said, like, you can't get off the island.
You can't get off the island? That's what it said?
If you disembark here, we're not going to let you go back.
Yeah.
That, by the way, was not the clearest of points of no return.
Okay.
Just saying.
Sure.
Like, I didn't really feel like for sure that I was never going to get off this island again. I was like, oh, maybe for a little bit. It's fine. So last time I was, like, right at the end of chapter 11. We're now, like, somewhat into chapter 13. So... You know, just to second what Emma says all the time, more video games should be musicals. Dang it.
So true.
It's crazy that chapter 12 is just, the gang goes and sees a play.
Yeah.
God, what's he doing?
The gang goes and sees the play is epic, though. More.
No, it's great. It's great. It's just shocking
When-
that nothing has happened in this game.
When will the Yakuza characters go and see a play?
They go to the movies?
That doesn't count.
Well, the guy in 8 like started, or 7?
7. You're right.
7
yeah.
starts with
yeah,
a play. But you're right. One of them needs to. Daigo could be part of community theater. Probably is. Saijima too. But this is not about my old men. This is about the boys. Aerith and Yuffie and Tifa are part of the boys too.
True.
So yes, they go to the theater. My date was Red 13, which feels about what I deserve.
That's a real date. You can get one that's you did not get anybody high enough. So you got a real one.
I was worried about that. I have started trying to use some synergy skills just for you. But it was after the date.
There you go. You know, you can get one with Kate and Sid and Vincent where they just have an awful time. So
that sounds great. That sounds wonderful. So yes, so me and Red, we had a great time. We like ran around. I totally messed up picking my party for the fight though. I thought I was gonna get prompt. It like wasn't letting me switch party members. And I thought it would. And I thought I'd get a prompt to do it, and I didn't. So I went in with Aerith with like a third of her materia slots filled because I had transferred them all to Barrett. And then he wasn't in the party. Whoops. It was fine. We got through it eventually. But yeah, Red and I had I thought the Red conversation on the Ferris wheel was lovely.
Yeah.
Delightful. Touching. And then you pet his head,
which
is a normal thing to do to your friend.
Your cat friend.
Thank you. Your cat friend.
Your cat dog friend.
Red is not a dog. Red is not a dog. He's a big cat. And I know Kate Sith takes the cat role, but I'm sorry. He's not a dog. No one would look at that and be like, that's a dog. A hyena, maybe. But like, and I know hyenas are sort of... Okay, whatever. Sorry, I can't do another rant about Red being not a dog. I do this every week. Anyway, so that was fine. Obviously, I'd been spoiled a little bit on this being what's coming. I mean, partially by the fact that this game is really 30 years old, but also by the fact that obviously I saw it at the orchestra concert and I was like, dang, wow, I really missed out on something in Gold Saucer at the time. I liked that rhythm game. I thought that was a kind of creative take on it. The like, oh, the button, like if you can like understand what the button is without seeing it, you get the great. Mm-hmm. That was like kind of neat. I really like what they do with the kind of rhythm game stuff in both of the 7 remakes. They're visually interesting. Mm-hmm. And as someone who's used to just like the boring karaoke slider of like a dragon, I'm like, ooh, like some visual spice. How fun. Don't know how I got an S rank. Did not feel like I did that well. Bar seems to have been quite low. But yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And then, okay, mild spoilers here, I guess. Right? Again, weird to do that with this game, but I do have to. With Kate Sith's betrayal, I was so sure that at the end when they were all like, screw you, dude, we never should have trusted you, you Shinra lackey, you suck, when he gave away the little keystone to the temple, that like they were all going to turn away and he was going to be like, oh, I can't do the accent. If I give you the line, will you try to do it for me?
I can't do it either.
But you are going to be better at it.
Oh,
You're
Cloud.
pretty good at it.
I can only say, oh, Cloud in the accent. That's it.
But that's probably what he would have done. Or what does he say? Like, get him, my son? Like, what's the...
Get in there, my son.
But I really thought once they'd all like turned away and been like, F you, like, we always knew that you were a bad egg, he was gonna like pull out the real one and have given them a fate.
Cat out.
I was so sure. So, oh well, to that, I guess. I did in my like chapter 12 do a little bit more like bopping around doing, oh, I guess I'm not gonna finish Queen's Blood. Shoot!
You go back to it afterwards.
I know. Well, maybe that's not my
if you
style,
really
but
wanted
maybe.
to.
Anyway, I bopped around, I played a little bit more Queen's Blood, I did a little bit of the side questing. Like, when they gave me the fast travel, it became much more accessible to do that. So I did do a little bit of that. I was enjoying it for a little, and then I got busy again, and I put it down for a couple weeks. The Gold Saucer, watching that was in the past few days, but like, I was doing all of this for a while. I put it down for a couple weeks because I was busy with work stuff, and I started to feel like, oh god, I've got to finish this game.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
And so, like, maybe in a different season of life, I would have gotten very into doing those side quests. But I don't know. I just was like, okay, like, let's do this. Like, let's move on.
Okay. Had you done the proto-relic stuff in the Corel region with the little goblin guy?
I did one of them.
Okay.
The ones that are in
So, I just want to share my experience with you.
Okay.
If you've done 2 of them before your second visit to the Gold Saucer, after there's the Kate Sith betrayal scene, and Vincent's like, I can track them, and there's this ominous shot of Cloud looking at his hand, and there's doing the Severance dolly zoom, and he says, the black materia will be ours, right?
Right.
Anyway, immediately after that, Kid G calls you on your phone, and it's just the visual of this horrifying little goblin creature. He's just saying, hey, you can do the other 2 proto-relic quests here now. Anyway, it was a really good example of the tonal whiplash, I guess.
You love a little freak.
I love a little freak. It's just very much like you're going from, oh no, what's Cloud thinking about? Something bad. And then it was the omen of Kid G calling you. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. So you're a little bit into the temple now, essentially.
Yeah, we're doing the gravity shifter, right? We're running around. Things look, they didn't really want Aerith there, even though she's part Cetra.
Right. Little blood purist of them.
Yeah, right? Like, yikes, a little bit of racism. So yeah, I'm eager. It does feel like, finally, something is happening in this freaking game. Which, look, again, lots of delightful little things. Just overall, like, the arc of this is hard. It's too big of a game to have so little plot through line. And, like, I'm interested in what's going on with Zack. What's going on with Zack? But we get, like, 10 minutes of that every 2 chapters. Mm-hmm. And that is just not enough. So, yeah, same review. But look, whatever. I'm excited to see what happens. Where's Sephiroth? I just want to hear One Winged Angel. Play it for me.
Yeah, well, next time we should hear your thoughts on the ending.
I hope I'm fine. We're like a teeny bit underleveled. Like 1 level underleveled.
I think
And I really got my butt kicked by Rude and Elena.
Yeah.
I beat Rufus in 1 try, but Rude and Elena took like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Because that thing they do where they punch you and you immediately lose 3,000 HP and you can't do anything about it, that's BS. It's a BS attack. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, there'll be a point where it tells you to prepare and you should prepare. That's like my 1 tip.
Thanks, good tip.
Yeah.
That was really helpful.
You're welcome. I got that tip and I did not prepare as well as I did, but I muscled through it.
See, now I'm not going to listen to your tip. I'm like, oh, I don't actually have to prepare.
But I had done everything else in the game, so.
Yeah. All right, taunt me with Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
I escaped chapter 2.
Really? That's so heartening to me, though, that, like, you spent so long in chapter 2. I'm like, yes, so much Pirate Majima content.
I could have spent longer in chapter 2, but I needed to get out of chapter 2.
Yeah.
It kept going. It kept being chapter 2. I needed to get out of chapter 2. Honolulu, much more fun to run around on foot in this game than I found it in Infinite Wealth.
Why?
I don't know if it's just because, like, well, it's a lot of things. There's more points of interest.
Right.
due to
They're pretty good at doing that. I feel like they
yeah.
add more. Yokohama got much more interesting, I feel like, in 8 than in 7.
Yeah. But there's more points of interest. I think just, I like the turn-based system, and Infinite Wealth is definitely faster than 7, but I still feel like they have too many random enemies for a turn-based battle system in 8. And in this one, it's like, I can just charge up triangle, and then the fight's over a lot of the time, It's just much faster to get around. In contrast, ship traversal, so boring.
It's required to be. A game is not allowed to have an interesting ship traversal system.
It's just so slow, like, to get from place to place. And there's not the fast travel system on the ocean is not very friendly. I just wish I could give somebody else the wheel, and there could be like an alarm when there's like ship combat, and I could like rush to the wheel, and that could be like a mechanic, right? Or whatever. Yeah. I just don't want to drive it, I'd rather be doing anything else than driving the ship, which is a shame because a lot of the places you drive the ship to are fun, but it's just the driving the ship sucks. So, yeah, there's some side content that they've introduced that I'm interested in doing, like, and some that I'm not. Like the Pirates Coliseum, sort of in the same way as like Guidance Coliseum. It's like I get how it's fun, kind of, but it's sort of like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again in other ways, in ways that's not so fun. So I think I'm probably gonna set that aside, focus more on like treasure hunting and stuff, which unfortunately involves steering the ship, but whatever. Dress up. I'm just gonna focus on Majima Barbie dress up, and that'll be it for me, I guess. So yeah, there's so much side content. There's so much fun to just sort of like running around from place to place.
Yeah.
And I'm not the story. It's there.
No, don't say that. It doesn't matter. That was kind of how Gaiden was too. And then at the end, it was like, let me punch you in the face.
Yeah, I'm not like, it's certainly not as clear what this is doing for Majima as like the other games have been about what they're doing for Kiryu at this point. Sure. Speaking as an outsider, I guess.
Right.
But even from what I've heard, I don't really understand what this game is doing for Majima's character. It's mostly about the people he's accompanying at this point. So I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it.
I hope what it's doing is setting him up for a major role in Like a Dragon 9. A full party member for Kiryu.
We'll see.
I have no conception for fake his own death again.
I have no conception for what they're doing for Yakuza 9, honestly. I have no idea.
Because it's Yakuza 3 to the 3rd, Judgment 3.
We'll see. There was a side quest where there was like this 65-year-old man who wanted to join Majima's pirate crew, and Majima was like, okay, old timer. I was like, like with no self-awareness. I don't think the game had self-awareness.
They're like, this man is not 60.
But occasionally they are like, he's 60. And it's just this one side quest that's like, Majima's like, this guy's way too old to do pirates. And it's like, Majima, you're 60. I guess he doesn't remember.
Yeah. He probably doesn't know he's 60. You're right. That's smart.
He looks at himself and he's like, I'm 35.
Yeah. This body?
That's a 35-year-old, I think. I have had fun with Majima dress up. He's like a weird little greaser guy in his normal outfit, and then his pirate outfit. I have cat makeup on because Goro's like our mascot, Goro the cat.
Right.
So we're like the cat pirates. And I'm sure that this won't bite me in the butt later when there's like an emotional scene and he's wearing cat makeup. We're just gonna live with it, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be on when we find out Kiryu's dead. This is a whole mental break because Kiryu died off screen.
I anyway, they're doing a dub for Yakuza 0, so maybe I'll actually play that.
God, do I have to play the Yakuza 0 director's cut?
At least wait for it to be off. It's first on Switch 2, apparently, and then coming to other systems. So you might as well wait. You're not going to buy a Switch 2 for it. I'm not going to buy a Switch 2 for it.
I'm certainly not.
But when it does come to other systems, there is a dub, and like,
I'm not going to play the dub. I know you're
I'm going to play the dub. We don't have to discuss this again. I don't know what's wrong with me with video games. I really have trouble when video games are not in English with voice acting. Nothing else causes me that. Like, movies, TV shows don't cause me this problem. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my brain trying to do too many things at once. I don't know. But I really hope they have Kaiju Tang voice Nishiki just to bring it full circle. You know, I think that'd be funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah, that's all I'll say about Pirate Yakuza. Honestly, not too many things have happened that I feel like I could spoil you on, which maybe is
I'm sure it's just he's a pirate and he's running around.
He's a pirate, he's running around.
I imagine, look, in my dreams, we have both finished this game for the next one of these.
Yeah, and then we can discuss it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have 7 weeks in gaming, actually.
We do? What's the...
We'll have a PAX episode.
Oh, right. Yes, we'll have a PAX episode. Good point.
So we'll definitely have finished it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listeners, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
Do you feel like you would want to be wearing cat makeup for an emotional moment in your life? Are you shocked and appalled that Emma is in a we're so back phase with Reverie Report? Have you been convinced to subscribe to Apple Arcade over the course of this podcast? Do you know how I can hook up a PS5 controller or any PlayStation controller? I have all generations, or a Switch controller, to my phone so I can play the Katamari game as God and the King of all Cosmos intended with real joysticks. If you know the answers to any of these questions, really just the last one, but I guess you would know the answers personally to the first 3 as well, you can hit us up on social media. We're on Facebook. I almost said Twitter. We're not on Twitter. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky at Talk This Podcast. You can also visit our website, www.talkthispodcast.com, where you can read all about the show, check out the games in the hat, and read our blog featuring Emma's thoughts on Transistor, which we talked about this time, and maybe eventually featuring a blog on what is mad funny anyway, and other stuff. But most importantly, if you enjoy the show, you can subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts, online and on the app, Overcast, Pocket Casts, wherever you can find podcasts. Subscribe to Talk This so you never miss an episode on Sundays at noon Eastern. I don't remember what we're talking about next week.
Talking about Sid Meier's Pirates.
Pirates!
Yeah, and sorry we're closed.
So look forward to that. And then my side quest in 2 weeks. And then eventually a PAX episode sometime in May.
Yeah. And then some other stuff. And
where we will only talk about the soda.
Man, PAX is looking pretty dire.
It's not looking good. It's really not.
It's not looking good.
Every year we're like, but like maybe next year is like the year that they come back. Like last year we had some excuse. But this is it.
Yeah.
But the soda guys are back. We're so back.
Yeah, last year's excuse was the soda guys weren't there, so I assume everybody drew out, you know.
We're going to have to get a thing. Anyway, we can talk about this offline. Hey, folks. That's our show. Emma, sign us off.
This week, I hope that you get a free month of Apple Arcade.